Rarely does a piece of gear come around that absolutely changes the way I make music. And in fact, the last time that happened was when I bought my iPad Pro, but it has happened again. Yes, AIAIAI's studio wireless headphones are that good. What is up, creatives? I'm Jahrell, your music technologist, here to help you master the tech you need to make music freely. And a couple disclaimers before we get started. First, headphone reviews are tricky because you can't hear the headphones through my review, but I will do everything I can to give you guys an understanding of what you're getting into with these bad boys. Second is, I paid for these with my own money. They were not sent to me. This video is not sponsored. That in mind, let's get going. So, the TMA2 Studio Wireless Plus headphones. What's their deal? Why are they so revolutionary? Let's talk about it. The main selling point with these headphones is they're the first true wireless headphones made for musicians, music producers, and DJs. It comes with some W+ link technology in both the headband and the receiver that you get with it that allow it to have uncompressed and lossless audio with ultra low 16 millisecond latency. What does all that mean? It means when I have these bad boys on and I press a key on my piano, it comes into the headphones at basically the same time without a cable. And as a musician, it's genuinely changed my life. But let's talk about the headphones a little bit before we get into all of that. So how much do these bad boys cost? Well, they ain't cheap. It's $350. Yeah, that's expensive, but I believe they are worth what you get from them. No, they're not priced at an entry level, nor do I think anyone at an entry level really needs to get these as their first pair of headphones. But for those that are really trying to elevate the way they make music, $350 I think is a reasonable price for what they do. So let's talk about what comes in the box. We're gonna talk about the modularity of these headphones in a little bit, but it's important to note because these do not come in the box fully assembled. So you've got all of the different components will come packaged separately in the box. That box is right here. TMA2 modular headphone system by AIAIAI. You slide it open. Obviously I've already unboxed these, I've pulled everything out, but everything comes in these little bags, all of the different components. So basically you just pop them all open, pull out the different pieces, and you assemble everything. Their packaging is entirely recycled materials. Also, the reason why everything has to come separately like that and not assembled is because these modular headphones can be customized at the time of purchase. So they're just gonna send you what you need in separate bags in the box, you put it together. So the stuff that comes in the box, let's talk about that. We'll move the headphone components we've already seen to the side. And those are just the ear cups here, the ear pads. These are Alcantara material. They're very comfortable over the ear, and you can customize those. I'll show you guys in a minute. These are the speakers themselves, and then you have the headband itself, which has all of the technology built in to make these things do the things that they do. I've also mentioned the W+ link receiver right here. It's a little bulky, but it still fits in the palm of your hand, basically. I have a little something I attach to the back here that makes my life a little easier. Basically, it's magnetic. That obviously doesn't come with it. But the receiver itself, you got your basic 3.5mm jack. You've got a USB-C jack for charging. You've got a power button. Then you've got 4 LED indicators to indicate charge. Also in the box is the USB-C cable that comes for charging. It does have an angle to it, which actually makes it easier to charge this thing through the USB-C port here. So when this goes in, sometimes the ear cup can get in the way, so the angle definitely helps. I have tried another charger that's not angled. I'm still able to make it happen, so it's not a big deal. Also included is this neon green cable that is for your wireless receiver. So you plug that in here to the included jack, and you plug the other end into your audio source of choice. Also comes with the standard 1/8 inch to 1/4 inch adapter, screws on. Also comes with a nice long coiled cable for the headphones themselves. So yes, these headphones can be used wired or wireless. Another sweet little added bonus is they allow you to plug the headphone cable itself into either slot on the bottom of the headphones. So it's just a push in, twist and lock situation, so the headphone cable won't come out. And the same cable can go over here on the other side, same scenario, same setup. This is actually a highly underrated feature, especially for someone like me that plays a classical string instrument, where I have my viola here on my left side, and the headphone ports on headphones are usually also on the left side, and that gets in the way of the viola, so I have to flip the cable back behind me. It's a whole mess. With these, if I want to use them wired, I can just pop that in the right side, put the headphones on, cable is dangling on the opposite side, and I can play viola, no issues. But I don't do that often because I'm usually using these bad boys wireless for my recording. The last thing included in the box is the carrying case. It's more of a carrying bag. I wish they gave something a little more protective than this. It's just a mesh with a very thin outline. It's not gonna save it from much other than dust. For comparison, my previous pair of headphones, you'll see me mention these in the video a few times, the Audio-Technica ATH M50Xs, at least came with a pretty thick leather pouch. I'm not saying this is significantly more protective, but it is a nicer material and definitely is a bit more protective than this very thin, flimsy material. If you are, however, looking to get a carrying case from AIAIAI, the options available to you are this hardcover case right here. I was able to get this with a promo for free from them. I don't think that promo is still running, but this case runs about $35. I would say it's not worth it, to be honest. It's a very basic design. It has a zipper here, but the shape of it doesn't even really fit the headphones that great. If you put the headphones straight into the case, they kind of make the case a bit oblong, at least at the setting I have them at, and you close it and zip it, and it's a very strange, peculiar situation, unless they're assuming that you're going to take off the ear cups every time you put them in here, which would be silly. So my opinion, skip the hard case or get one somewhere online. That does also lead me to talk about one of the pitfalls of these headphones, and that is the portability factor. There's no folding involved here. There's no special configuration that makes them easier for travel. You can disassemble them and they'll pack pretty nice, but most people that are bringing headphones somewhere are probably going to be using them on the trip. So having a quick way to collapse them would be ideal. That is difficult to do, however, with all the technology that is in this upper band. Before I go on talking about anything else with these, I know the question you're dying for me to answer is, how do they sound? They are headphones after all. My answer to that is they sound very impressive. Music producers and engineers need headphones with a very flat signal response that are very precise, with great soundstage and stereo reproduction. These have all of that. And they've even helped me see some of the pitfalls in my previous pair of headphones, the Audio-Technicas. Now you guys have heard me talk about how these Audio-Technica headphones have a good flat signal response, and they do, but listening to these has helped me realize that these actually have a little bit of a boost in the highs and lows, just a little bit of a signal curve, and it causes you to miss some of the mids. Also, the soundstage in these, I'm not hearing all of the same nuance in the music that I'm hearing in the AIAIAI headphones. Things being placed far apart or subtly moved in the mix are not as noticeable in these as they are in the AIAIAI headphones. Now, I wasn't initially thrilled about my first listen to these AIAIAI headphones because it seemed like there was just too much mid for me. I didn't get the same initial boomy response impression that I was expecting from something like these. A couple main differences being these are over ear and these are on ear. That definitely makes a difference. But I've come to find the signal response from these is significantly more accurate than with the Audio-Technicas. Now, there is one pitfall in the sound quality department with the AIAIAI headphones, and it only comes into play when using the W+ Link technology, and that is there is a very light hiss that is noticeable when using the receiver. Now, this definitely depends on your output gain, and it depends on how you configure things. So what I've noticed is on the top here, you've got your headphone volume buttons, and then there's a power button in the middle. There's volume up and a volume down here. When using the W+ Link receiver, you can control the volume using these buttons regardless of what you have this bad boy plugged into. So if you have this plugged into a pretty low output source, you're gonna have to crank this button pretty high in order to get some good volume. That will cause that hiss to be pretty loud to the point where it could be annoying when producing. But a couple ways around this, just make sure you have this plugged into a nice loud output source, and then you can crank the gain down on these headphones in order to get rid of some of that hiss. But if you turn the headphone volume too low and you crank the gain too high on the input source, then you are going to have some very strange, harsh distortion. Basically, it will sound like a quieter, distorted signal. And that is because the source you're putting into it is obviously cranked too high. And at the low volume, these don't seem to be able to handle that. So, moral of the story, these can work just fine as far as that hiss without it being too noticeable if you just get your input signal correct. And I haven't found that difficult to do. I plug this bad boy into one of my audio switchers on the desk, which is basically an attenuator from my audio interface on my desk, and I get perfect signal from there, able to use this without any fuss. I've had the same thing when using my iPad. When I plug it in straight into the iPad, I have to turn up the volume pretty high on the iPad in order to get it to work well with these headphones. Even then, still, the hiss isn't too noticeable to me. My personal experience, as well as the experience of almost every review that I've seen, is that the hiss really isn't that noticeable. Obviously, it's something you have to listen to see if you care for it yourself, but my ruling on it is that it's really not that noticeable. Let's talk about build quality and aesthetics. Now, these have a very sturdy build. They are very lightweight and very comfortable. The lightweightness is something I noticed like right away. These kind of start to feel like they're not on your head if you wear them for long enough. Other headphones definitely have a bit of squeeze factor between the two cups, which can get a little uncomfortable over time. These I find are just fine for me. And as far as aesthetics go, I think they have a very clean and minimal look. The only branding you see on these is this debossed AIAIAI logo right here on the top, if I can get it in focus. A couple buttons here on the side, as well as one LED indicator. On the inside, you've got the switch for Bluetooth on here, where you can switch between the two to get your Bluetooth 80 hours of playback, and then back to the W+ receiver for 16 hours of playback. Then you've got the charging port over here on the side for charging. The ear cups that come with these are very soft. These are the Alcantara, super soft, super comfortable. They're over ear cups, and I'm super happy with how they feel. And I don't feel like these are gonna break anytime soon. A couple things I'm not a huge fan of is on this button array here, I wish the power was just a toggle on-off switch somewhere on the headphones, because having to press and hold this button for quite a while in order for it to turn on, right? Ah, there they are. Yeah, that gets a little old because I have to do that for both the headphones themselves as well as the receiver. So you press and hold this as well to turn it on, wait for it, and there it is. And then I have to turn both of those off with a press and hold every time I use them because I don't want to waste any battery. They also don't seem to come with any auto off feature for them to just turn themselves off when it notices you're not using them. I understand that could be a bit hairy to implement because you don't want these bad boys turning off in the middle of somebody's live DJ gig. That would really suck. But I wish there was some way maybe to customize that. I don't know. And a quick way to alleviate the issue is to just change these buttons to switches. Maybe that's something they can do in the future with the next ones. Another thing that's kind of a small gripe, as an iPad music producer, I tend to like things to be small and portable. This receiver is pretty bulky, pretty thick. You can see I've added this back plate here onto mine, and that's for an actual reason. I've put some magnets in there that allow me to do this. Magnet this bad boy onto the back. Bad boys. And still be able to open up the case, and everything's groovy. That's proprietary. Sorry I don't have that available for you guys. My final small gripe is that these jacks on the bottom for plugging in your headphones wired, they have that twist and lock thing going on at the bottom. And you would think that's great. It is great when using their cable, but it really stinks when using any third-party cable because most of them, as slim as they get at the tip these days, are not going to get slim enough to fit between these twist and lock prongs. And I've found that to be pretty annoying when trying to plug in a third-party cable. So annoying, in fact, that I went through the hassle of picking up one of these little adapters that is nice and slim at the tip to plug into this and run the headphones through a non-proprietary cable. It'd be great if they could somehow make the twist and lock a little bit wider so that it was easier to be able to put third-party cables in here as well. So before I give you guys a window into my personal use cases for these headphones, I want to show you guys the customizable builder that they have on their website for when you want to buy these, because they allow you to customize a lot because, as I said, these are modular. So if you look on AIAIAI's website and you scroll over to headphones, you can pick the TMA2 Wireless Plus as a bundle, and this will give you everything that I've shown you in this video, obviously minus that hard case that doesn't come free. This is the package that I got. I did not customize mine, so what you see in this video is what comes in this bundle. But if you go back up here and you hit the TMA2 builder, you can choose everything that you want to use for your headphones. One thing to note that's super handy about this is there's a little indicator down here of what the response is going to be, the frequency response, bass, mids, and treble with your specific configuration. So the ear cups, the speaker units that come with the bundle are the SO5s right here. As you add that, you'll see that does create a little bit of a high mid. They do have the S10s over here, which do have built-in Bluetooth. You're not going to want to pick those ones because there is Bluetooth built into the headband that we would be getting. So you'd want to go with the SO5s or the SO2s, and that's going to depend on what you want them to sound like. So once you've picked your speaker units, you can scroll down, find your headband, and the only one that has the ultra low latency wireless plus is the H10 X01. That comes with the headband itself as well as the wireless receiver that you need included. So you select that one, you can scroll down and you can pick your ear cup of choice. Now the ones that came with mine are the E08 over ear Alcantara ones, and those are obviously one of the most expensive out of the bunch. If you're looking to save a couple bucks and you want to go with just leather, that saves you 15 bucks right there. That's pretty nice. If you're into on ear rather than over ear, you can pick something like these. And you'll notice as I'm changing these, we're getting quite a dramatic change in what the sound is going to be. So between these on ears and these over ears, you're seeing the frequency response be pretty drastically different. The Alcantaras here, you notice it balances out. Everything is pretty darn flat, and that's, like I said, that's the experience I've had with my headphones. This is the configuration I've used. So once you've selected your ear cups, you can scroll on down and pick your cable. I love that they let you customize the cable. I wish I had customized my bundle. The one that came with mine is going to be the coiled cable. Yeah, the CO2 right here. You can go with a straight cable, or this pretty snazzy looking neon lime green one is pretty dope. Or if you're just into using this wirelessly, you can hit no cable, which saves you 25, 30 bucks. And I love that. I love being able to pay for just what you want and not what you don't, especially if you already have a cable with an adapter that'll make it fit into these headphones. So once you've selected a cable, you just scroll on down and you'll notice it tells you the configuration here is 350. You can add on the hard case. Again, I would skip it. It's not the best. And then you can go on to purchase. So lastly, as we wrap this up, how have these headphones changed my music production? Let's talk about it. Well, I've already mentioned, as a violist, a classical strings player myself, putting these on and playing my viola freely while moving without having any cable is just chef's kiss, to be honest. That really goes for anything. If I'm sitting here or standing here playing some electric bass, some guitar, some acoustic guitar, like, not having cables in the way is wonderful. But you know where I'm going with this. The best application is being an iPad producer. I do everything I do right here on this device, and being able to take this with me, no wires attached other than this receiver right here, which I've made magnet, but you can just set it to the side, doesn't really matter. And having my headphones up here with no cables, it's a wonderful experience. These days, if I'm in studio, I tend to do most of my music production with the desk up. And it makes it easy for me to run over, grab one of my instruments, and come back without pulling the cable out or setting the headphones down. I can keep the music playing in my ears rather than having to stop, go get something and come back. And that sounds like a small thing, but it keeps me in the zone making the music. I'm hearing the music consistently while I'm making it. It's also terrific for when I want to go to my secondary station over here. I talked about in my previous studio tour video. If you want to catch that, link is up here or in the description. But I talked about my second station where I have a mic over my drum set and I have a separate audio interface over there, so I can just unplug my iPad from the desk, take it on over to the second station, plug it in, plug in this receiver, and I can record my drums with wireless headphones, no latency, no cable in my way as I'm trying to play drums. You can see how this could be a game changer. I am not a DJ of any kind, but I imagine this would be great for DJs who tend to be moving a lot, and the whole cable thing being in the way, the one ear off, and just, it'd be lovely to be able to just move around to your music. And that's another thing I've noticed myself doing as I'm using these headphones, is when I'm listening to music, I'll just walk away from the desk, jam to my music a little bit while I'm making it, and come back. And it keeps the creative juices flowing. And I don't know, it's just one of those small things that makes a big difference. All in all, I feel like the AIAIAI Studio Wireless Plus are a killer set of headphones. I highly recommend these to anybody that's looking for a pair of high quality professional headphones with wireless capabilities and very, very little latency. If you want to cop these, I will link them down in the description. And if you're interested in any of the other gear I use here in my iPad music production studio, where I'm also recording videos, definitely hit the link down below and check out my recent studio tour. Until next time, creatives, go make something dope, and I'll see you in the next video.